I haven't been following too much. I've been hearing a lot about this. The Ed Troyer trial, all that stuff about the when he accused a black newspaper carrier. Yeah, say he threatened to kill him. All that stuff like that. Ed Troyer blatantly lied as well. Now he's trying to backpedal the trick. This trial, this investigation, and been going on for over a year, and the trial has been going on for the last couple of weeks. We got a piece of this where Ed Troyer testified in his trial. Troyer criminal trial. Here we go. You ready for this?
Well, I think when you're going to take somebody out, I don't think he meant to dinner. I mean, I think he wanted to take me out and fight or get me or kill me or something.
A totally different version of what happened the morning of January 27th, 2021 was presented as Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer took the stand in his own defense.
He put his hands on the car and he was just swinging them and just like very animated.
Sheriff Troyer maintains newspaper delivery driver Cedric Altheimer threatened him after Troyer thought he was a prowler and followed him in his neighborhood. But Troyer downplayed the confrontation and reaction.
On the 911 call, you can say, I'm not worried about the threats. I don't want anything done about it. I just want everybody to be safe as they're arriving. And I said, I wasn't worried about the threats.
I caught some in my driveway who just threatened to kill me and they blocked him in.
The court revisited the back-channeled call to emergency dispatchers.
I really need just one or two people here first.
The sheriff is heard asking for one or two cars. 40-plus units were dispatched.
I was scared. I was scared.
Yeah, the black newspaper carrier, Theodore Altheimer.
His wife testified that after her husband got into a confrontation with Altheimer, someone showed up to their house screaming. She says they found a newspaper tossed in their yard, even though they don't subscribe to it.
I heard yelling, and there was a man standing outside of his car, and he was just yelling.
Troyer was asked why he decided to testify.
The reason why I'm here testifying is the media's made me out to be a racist and the state's made me out to be a liar.
Well, today, jurors heard from several responding officers who described the urgency they felt responding to that initial call where the sheriff felt that his life was in danger.
All I had was that someone was threatening to kill Troyer.
Multiple witnesses testifying this morning describing the initial urgency to respond to the call of Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer needing help.
It came out as Sheriff 1 requesting help. Somebody was threatening to kill him or threatening his life.
A Tacoma police officer testified that night in January 2021. Troyer believes Cedric Altheimer was acting suspicious and may have been prowling houses that night.
Where he followed the gentleman in his car.
At some point, the gentleman stopped his vehicle and got out of his car. That's when newspaper carriers deliver newspapers at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
He began yelling and cussing at him.
More than 40 units from different jurisdictions responded, but the call was eventually downgraded as officers learned more information, with dispatch notified only one unit needed to continue. During testimony from the 911 dispatcher who initially put out the urgent call, Troyer's life may be in danger, defense attorneys for Troyer highlighted possible issues with how the initial call was handled.
Sheriff Troyer never called 911, did he?
No.
Okay. He called an inside line, didn't he?
Correct.
So that's not for emergencies involving officers who need help, is it?
Officers use that line for that, yes.
The dispatcher becoming emotional at one point during testimony as the defense questioned her about a negative performance review regarding this case.
It's not based on any other incident or call, is it?
It's certainly not based on how I handled the call. I handled the call appropriately. The officer needs help call type is what is initially put into the computer.
Right. Do you need a minute?
Jurors heard from one of the responding officers who was first on scene the night Troyer called for help. Some of those officers even joking about the situation afterward. Tacoma Police Detective Chad Lawless on the stand for several hours today. He was one of the first officers who responded to the urgent call Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer needed help. Several officers arrived on scene in minutes asking Troyer what happened.
Did he threaten you or did you see him armed with any weapons? And again, he said no, but he also said it was clear that he wanted to fight.
The defense on cross-examination asking about any possible discrepancies in the report Lawless wrote on the incident compared to his testimony today and previous depositions on this.
I asked him if he was threatened and he said no.
My question is,
Isn't it possible there was a miscommunication between the two of you?
I didn't misunderstand him.
Altheimer later returned to throw a newspaper in Troyer's driveway, and Lawless was called back to Troyer's home.
I thought it was not really relevant to anything. I thought that it was a little bit ridiculous that the sheriff would again call and say this. He didn't articulate any crimes or any violence.
Troyer's defense attorneys pointing out some of the officers joked about the situation afterwards.
Isn't it true that after this incident, you and Sergeant Storick laughed about it, right?
Laughed about throwing the newspaper?
Yes.
Yeah, Sergeant Storick is my friend, and we did laugh about it, yes.
Troyer's wife also taking the stand late in the day.
Tired of it all. I want it to be over.
Tired of it all? What do you mean by it all?
Just everything that's going on.
That's understandable. You know, I think it's just funny. You know, how people can misuse the criminal system for their advantage. You know, for their trying to fit their narrative. Just like the other day, I've been talking about a couple of videos where Mr. Slow Observer was just simply doing the First Amendment of a crane facility. And people blatantly lie, say he was taking pictures of kids, stalking children at the school, harassing the people at work, said he had a gun. So that's crazy. None are blatantly like that, just because they're outcast, because of a person's gender, their race, their political background, their beliefs, all kinds of things like that. Or if someone holding a camera, just walking around, just taking pictures or video recording, and people are going to deem that suspicious. It's just people just lose their ever-loving mind these days. With that said, I'm out of here. Mike Chuck, peace out. We'll keep in touch on the Ed Troyer situation.